sleep. Because since I still felt tired. I still felt a little tired. I felt a little tired. I want to go back to sleep. What time is it? Shit, it's 10. I don't know what significance this dream is. And there was a part of me at the end where, like, I knew. At the end of the dream, I knew it was a dream to try to get me out. but the beginning part was interesting. It was interesting. There was a storyline. It wasn't like the other one. It wasn't like there was symbolism too. The reason why I went back is because I just feel more tired, which is different. So, and it's because I didn't sleep on the freaking mat. So when I sleep on the mat, I feel more rested. Like and my dream so far, right? It's only been one day that I don't sleep with it or on it. But I noticed that I do wake up more rested, like just energized. Like I just feel like charged, right? like an energized bunny. I just feel charged. Because it just triggered me crying a little bit. So I just won't go back to bed for a little bit. So my dream, it's about home. It's about home. There's this feeling of home. I'm looking for my home. And there's this feeling like I'm a foster child. That's what it feels like. Like I'm a foster child and I'm just trying to find home. And I'm inside this apartment and it feels familiar, but it's also not. And I'm in bed. My computer's there by the window. And there's this feeling like I need to get up. There's this feeling like I need to get up. But I had already been up before. That's what it felt like. Like I'd already been up before. And when I was walking through the apartment, that I'm like, this doesn't feel like my apartment. Like I've never been in this apartment before. I'm noticing little things. That things are needing attention. Like the floor. There's something about the floor. There's it's carpet, but there's like an indent, like I just know there's been leakage. There's water, and I'm trying to look for where the water dripped in, and I can't find it. But then I look at the wall, and the caterpillar. There's a bug. There's a bug, and it's been eating the paint. It's been eating the paint, and there's a trail. Like initially, there was no trail. Initially, I just see like water creases, water stains, and I'm just like, what's happening? What's happening? Because there's water stains that I'm seeing, but I don't see the source. And I'm in this apartment that I don't know, but I'm trying to find the water source, and that's when I see the little bug, the little caterpillar bug thing, and it's like a snail almost, that it's leaving the little slimy, what I thought was water, but it's leaving the little slimy trail. So I'm like, that's where the trail's coming from. But when I go back into the room, that's when I see the paint. The paint is being eaten, being like cleared out, and I could see the paint, the other layer of paint underneath. And I'm like, oh snap, like the house needs attention. The house needs attention. the apartment needs attention. And so I that's the feeling. The apartment needs attention. So I'm calling for the maintenance guy because I realize it's an apartment where there's a lot of apartments similar, and that was the thing. Like I looked outside, and there was an element I could see, like grass and like little hills, and so there was an element that it reminded me of the apartment in Rancho where I used to live, where there's a lot of apartments, but it's all one layer. It's not like an apartment complex. And so I'm trying to call a maintenance guy over. And then at that point, but there's this feeling of I'm looking for home, looking for home. But it felt like I was a foster child. It felt like I was a foster child. And I'm just looking for home. What is home? What is home? And then the apartment looked different. Then it shifted. It looked like another apartment. And again, that's this just same feeling of like, I'm just looking for a home. I'm just looking for a home. And then I'm looking out the window. And then it feels like I'm in the city now. So instead of it being like where I was before with the grass, I'm in the city. Like I could tell, like it's just busy outside. And I was like, oh, like I'm looking for home. I'm looking for home. And then after that, I realized that I'm looking out the window, but then I'm outside of the apartment. I'm like, oh snap! I was inside the apartment. Now I'm outside the apartment. And then I'm trying to make my way back in the apartment because there's just this feeling I just want to be home. I just want to be home. And as I'm walking back to the door, what I think is my apartment, there's a moment where I'm trying to be taken away, and someone shows up, and they're trying to kind of make it seem like I know them, and I'm just like, I don't know you, but and then they're trying to take me away. And I'm like, well, I don't know you, and they're trying to take me away, and I'm screaming for help. I'm trying to scream for help. So the maintenance guy, right? He drives by and I'm like, help me. Like this person is trying to take me away. And it felt like he was trying to trick me. The person was like, he knew me. He just says my name. But like there's just this noise. He's trying to take me away from my home. And so I call out to the maintenance guy. And I think he doesn't hear me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to take me away. And I don't know where he's so there's this fear of like, I don't know where he's taking me to. And this is the only home I know. But then the maintenance, like he's looking for something. And I'm like, oh, I know he's coming back. This maintenance guy. You know who he was? Just realized who he was. He's the principal of one of the schools I used to work a lot with foster children and children in those programs, special education programs, where they tend to be, there tend to be a little more trouble, some active and need more attention, more guidance, more one-on-one guidance, behavioral plans, stuff like that. And the maintenance guy, that was him, because he looked familiar. He used to be one of the acting principals at it was what were those schools called? It wasn't a private school, but it was there's certain levels of intervention, of the type of school. So you have your special day class, and then you have where it's more of a behavioral class. It's not a special day class at that point. It's something else. And then it's like you have layers of interventions at the schools, but when they max out of those interventions at schools, when the behaviors become so much so that they can't really control it, and that they go to another school, but those are privately owned, and they contract. I forget what level of service it's called. I have to go back and look, but it's a certain level of service. It's more intensive because the whole school is set up where it's behavioral focus, and those schools were really intense because of the type of children that would end up there, and high school kids, and there was always like, I mean, there was always stuff going on, and in those schools, like, I mean, it's just unfortunate the way that they're set up in terms of the quality of training and education. But those schools were, they all had to go through a certain level of certification. But a lot of these, where I used to work, a lot of these schools would lose their, so it was like a hit or miss. Like, there was this school that would open up, and then it would have this name, and then it was like I just remember they were like closing and opening in certain schools. So this particular school had a principal that was the guy. That was him. He was acting principal, or I don't remember. He was the principal. It's been years I worked with him. But he was the maintenance guy, and he saw me struggling, and he's getting something from his truck, because and he's coming back to help me get away, and the other guy sees that the other guy's coming, so he lets me go. And so there's that feeling of like, you know, yeah, like I'm not being taken away anymore. So then I go back home, or I turn around, and they tell my foster parent. So I can see, I see a foster parent there who came home, and for there's a scene where I'm running to her. She's a black woman, but she's home. She feels like home, and I'm hugging her, like, because I'm scared. Like, there was this feeling of like, oh my gosh, like, and I'm hugging her. And there's a lot of other children too. There's a lot of other children. So there's this knowing that we're all, like, it's just a foster family. But I'm hugging her, like, oh my gosh, like, just to calm myself down. And then the scene shifts.
Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is, great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.